The cold hits first, not the temperature, the feeling. A sharp, metallic taste in my mouth. My fingers grip silk sheets I haven't felt in months. Sunlight cuts through curtains that shouldn't exist anymore. I died in twisted metal and gasoline fumes. I died watching Jake's face in the rearview mirror, expressionless. I died knowing. But I'm breathing. The bedroom smells like jasmine and expensive candles. Our bedroom. The penthouse overlooking the city, bought with my father's money 3 years ago. I sit up slowly, and my body responds without the ache I'd grown used to, the phantom pain from the accident that hasn't happened yet, won't happen, can't happen. On the nightstand, my phone. The date glows at me. March 15th, 6 months before the crash. One day, after I signed everything away. My hand doesn't shake when I reach for it. Something inside me has gone very still, very quiet. The kind of quiet that comes after screaming, after the sound has scraped your throat raw and there's nothing left but the ringing silence. I scroll through my messages. There, yesterday's confirmation from the bank. Transfer complete. Eleanor Chen's family trust, built over 3 generations of sacrifice and brilliance, now accessible to Jake Morrison. Beloved husband. I set the phone down with the same care you'd use handling a loaded gun. The bathroom mirror shows me a face I forgot I had. 32, but I'd looked older before, tired, worn thin by trying. Now my eyes are clear, rested. The version of me who didn't know yet that in 6 months Jake's car would swerve into mine on a mountain road, that the brake lines would be cut, that his girlfriend, younger, sharper, greedier, would be waiting at his apartment with champagne. Her name is Vivian, not Sarah. I'd gotten that wrong in my confusion, in those last spinning seconds. Vivian Cross, 26, real estate agent. They'd met when Jake convinced me we needed a vacation home in Aspen. I died, not knowing I could come back. The trust papers are still on his desk. I find them that afternoon while Jake is at the office, which could mean anything, could mean her apartment, could mean the cafe where they planned my death over lattes and croissants. I don't touch the papers. I photograph them. Every page, every signature, every clause that makes him co-beneficiary of everything my grandfather built, everything my father protected, everything that was supposed to be mine. We met 5 years ago at a charity gala. He had a good suit and better manners, and when he smiled at me across the marble floor, I felt seen for the first time in years. Not as Eleanor Chen, heiress, just Eleanor. A woman who liked poetry and terrible reality TV, who wanted to be loved for something other than the weight of her last name. He played the part beautifully. I remember our wedding, small, elegant, on the coast. My father had reservations. I saw it in the way his hand lingered on my shoulder during our dance, the way he held on just a moment too long. But he gave his blessing. He died 8 months later. Heart attack. Jake held me while I cried, whispered that we'd honour Dad's legacy together, that I'd never be alone. The trust transferred to me on my 30th birthday, 2 years ago. Jake suggested celebrating by securing our future. His words. He had spreadsheets, projections, investment opportunities that would double, triple our wealth. All it required was consolidating assets, making him co-trustee so he could move faster, capitalise on time-sensitive deals. I signed because I loved him, because marriage meant partnership, because I was tired of bearing the weight alone. Yesterday, in this timeline, was the final signature. The last gate opened. Every account, every property, every stock option now accessible to both of us. Equal partners. I'd celebrated with wine and takeout. He'd kissed my forehead and said he had to prep for an early meeting. I'd fallen asleep alone in our bed thinking about how much easier life would be now with someone to share the burden. In my original timeline 3 weeks from now, he'd start the transfers. Small amounts first, testing the waters. Then, larger sums routed through shell companies Vivian helped him establish. By the time I noticed, by the time I questioned, he'd have moved 80% of it beyond my reach. And when I'd threatened to call the lawyers to expose him, he'd looked at me with those same warm eyes and promised we'd fix it together. The mountain road was his fix. I'd survived the crash for 17 minutes, long enough for the paramedics to arrive, for Jake to kneel beside me with manufactured tears, for me to see Vivian's car parked just around the bend, waiting. Long enough to understand that love could be a weapon, that trust could be a trap. Long enough to wish I could start over. The moment comes at 2 a.m. I'm standing in the kitchen, glass of water halfway to my lips, when I realise I remember everything, but I'm not the same person who lived it. That Eleanor died. This Eleanor, she woke up with all the memories of her death, but none of the weakness that led there. I set the glass down. Study my reflection in the darkened window. In the other timeline, I'd spent these 6 months slowly unravelling, questioning why Jake seemed distant, why he needed so many late meetings, why Vivian's name appeared so often in his contacts, explained away as professional networking. I'd made myself smaller, trying to be the wife he wanted, convinced that if I just loved him enough, gave enough, sacrificed enough, he'd love me back. I died still hoping. This Eleanor doesn't hope. This Eleanor knows. The knowledge sits in my chest like a cold stone, smooth and hard. I think about confronting him. Imagine the satisfaction of watching his face crumble when I reveal what I know. But that's emotion talking. That's the old Eleanor, the one who believed in fairness and justice and the power of truth. This Eleanor understands something simpler. People like Jake don't respond to truth. They respond to consequences. I return to bed. Jake sleeps beside me, peaceful, one arm thrown over his eyes. In his dreams, he's probably already spending my money, already planning his new life with Vivian, free of the wife who was only ever valuable for her inheritance. I watch him for a long moment, feel nothing, not love, not hate, just clarity. By morning, I know exactly what I'm going to do. I call my lawyer at 9 a.m. sharp. David Park has handled my family's affairs for 20 years. He knew my grandfather, respected my father, and has always treated me with the careful courtesy reserved for clients who sign his paychecks. I've never used that power before, never needed to. Eleanor, good morning. What can I do for you? I need to reverse the trust amendment, the one I signed 2 days ago. Silence. Then, carefully. May I ask why? Irreconcilable differences? The legal term tastes bitter and perfect. I'm also filing for divorce, but that's secondary. The trust reversal is priority 1. How fast can you do it? If you come to the office today, we can have preliminary paperwork by tomorrow. Full reversal within 72 hours, assuming no complications. Eleanor, are you safe? The question surprises me. Maybe I sound different. Maybe dying and coming back changes your voice. I'm safe. I'm thinking clearly. And I need this done quietly, David. No alerts to Jake, no courtesy notifications. Can you do that? Yes, come at 2. I'll clear my afternoon. I dress in my armour, the Armani suit my father bought me for my first board meeting, the heels that make me 3 inches taller, the watch that costs more than most people's cars. In the mirror, I look like what I am, a woman who inherited an empire. Not a wife, not a victim. A predator. Jake texts at noon. Working late tonight, don't wait up. I don't respond. At David's office, I sign papers with the same pen I used to give Jake everything. The irony isn't lost on me. David watches me with concerned eyes, but asks no questions beyond the necessary. He's a good lawyer. He knows when to stay silent. The trust will revert to your sole control by Friday, he confirms, and I'll draft divorce papers. Grounds? Adultery, fraud, I'll provide evidence as needed. His eyebrows lift slightly. I'll make sure everything is airtight, Eleanor. Whatever happened, I'm sorry. Don't be sorry, just be thorough. By Thursday, the pieces are moving. I hire a private investigator. Not for evidence, I already know what I'll find, but for documentation. Legal proof that will stand up in court when Jake inevitably fights back. The investigator is a woman named Rachel, ex-FBI, with sharp eyes and sharper instincts. Your husband and Vivian Cross, I tell her, sliding a folder across the table at our coffee shop meeting. I need photographs, timestamps, financial connections, everything that shows premeditation. She doesn't ask if I'm sure. She sees something in my face that answers all questions. How long? 3 weeks. I need it comprehensive. Consider it done. On Friday morning, I wake to find Jake already gone. He's left a note on the kitchen counter. Breakfast meeting. Love you. The casual cruelty of it, the automatic lie, might have hurt once. Now it just confirms everything. I call the bank at 9:01 a.m. This is Eleanor Chen. I need to speak with my accounts manager. Thomas Whitmore comes on the line within minutes. Miss Chen, how can I help you? I need to freeze all joint accounts and credit cards effective immediately, and I need to review any transfers made in the past 48 hours. Professional silence. Then, may I ask the reason? Security concerns. I'll provide documentation, but I need the freeze now. I understand. Give me 10 minutes. 12 minutes later, he calls back. All accounts frozen. You're the only one with access. And, Miss Chen? There were 3 attempted transfers yesterday, total of $850,000. They were flagged by our fraud department due to unusual patterns. We held them pending your authorization. My laugh is sharp and bitter. Deny the transfers. And thank you, Thomas. Of course. Will there be anything else? Not today. I sit at the kitchen table, coffee cooling in my hands, and imagine Jake's face when his card declines, when his phone starts buzzing with alerts, when he realizes the money he thought was his, that he'd already spent in his mind, is gone. This is just the beginning. The weekend passes in strange quiet. Jake tries his card at lunch on Saturday. I know because Rachel texts me a photo of him at an upscale bistro, confusion turning to panic on his face when the waiter returns with an apologetic expression. He makes a call, then another. I can imagine him checking his bank app, seeing the frozen accounts, the restricted access. He comes home that evening with flowers and takeout. His smile is slightly strained. Hey, beautiful, tough day at the office, so I thought I'd treat us. I accept the flowers. Let him kiss my cheek, play the role of oblivious wife for just a little longer. That's sweet. Everything okay? Yeah, just some banking weirdness. My cards were temporarily frozen. Some security thing. I'll sort it Monday. How strange. I arrange the flowers in a vase, keep my voice light. Did you try calling them? They said they'd sent notifications to the primary account holder. Did you get anything? I meet his eyes. See the calculation there, the careful probe. Nothing. Want me to check? If you don't mind, just to make sure there's no real issue. I make a show of checking my phone, scrolling through emails. There is something here. Security alert. Says all joint accounts are under review for fraudulent activity. The colour drains from his face so perfectly, so completely that I almost smile. Almost. Fraudulent? That's insane. Eleanor, this is obviously a mistake. Let me see. Sure. I hand him my phone, watch him read the notification that doesn't actually exist. I fabricated it minutes before he came home. Do you think someone tried to access our accounts? Must be. His voice is tight. I'll call first thing Monday. Get this straightened out. Good idea. I lean against the counter, study him. Jake, is there anything you want to tell me? Anything I should know about? For a moment, I see fear flicker across his face. Then he laughs, pulls me into a hug that feels like a trap. Of course not. Why would you ask that? No reason. Just seemed like you were stressed. Just work stuff. Nothing for you to worry about. I let him hold me, count the seconds until I can pull away. He smells like cologne and lies. That night, I sleep in the guest room, tell him I have a migraine, need darkness and silence. He doesn't argue. On Sunday, Rachel sends me the first batch of photos. Jake and Vivian at restaurants, hotels, her apartment, kissing in parking garages, his hand on her lower back, proprietary and comfortable. Timestamps, dating back 18 months. The evidence I need. Monday morning, Jake leaves early. Have to sort out this banking thing, he says. Might take a while. Of course. Good luck. The moment he's gone, I call David Park. The trust reversal is complete, he confirms. You have sole control. And Eleanor? I've received some interesting information. Your husband attempted to access the accounts over the weekend. Multiple times. The attempts were logged and documented. Perfect. And the divorce papers? Ready for your signature. Would you like to serve him, or... Not yet. Let him think he still has time to fix this. Let him show me exactly who he is. By noon, Jake has called me 6 times. I don't answer. Let him spiral. Let him wonder if I know, if I suspect, if his careful plans are crumbling. At 3 p.m, Rachel calls. You need to see this. She sends me surveillance footage from a jewellery store. Jake and Vivian browsing engagement rings. The date stamp this morning. While he was supposed to be at the bank fixing our security issue, he was shopping for a ring to give his mistress. The audacity would be impressive if it weren't so pathetic. There's more, Rachel says. They have dinner reservations Thursday night, Chez Laurent. He booked the private terrace, champagne package included. Thursday, 3 weeks from when I died in the original timeline, the date he'd planned to propose to her to start his new life, believing I'd soon be gone. Rachel, I need you to do something for me. Name it. Make sure you have cameras at that restaurant on Thursday. Every angle. I want documentation of everything. Consider it done. Eleanor, whatever you're planning, it's going to be spectacular, isn't it? I hope so. Thursday arrives, wrapped in golden autumn light. I spend the day at a spa, facial, massage, nails done in a shade called Revenge Red. I dress for the evening in understated elegance. Black dress, simple jewellery, hair swept up to expose the graceful line of my neck. I look like someone going to dinner alone, someone healing, someone moving on. Chez Laurent is 3 blocks from our penthouse. I arrive at 7 p.m, request the bar with a view of the terrace. The hostess seats me with a professional smile and I order wine. Something expensive and French and utterly wasted on my numb palate. Jake and Vivian arrive at 7:30. She's beautiful in the way of women who know their power, all sharp angles and practiced grace, wearing a red dress that probably cost more than she makes in a month. Jake is money. My money. She laughs at something he says, touches his arm with familiar ease. They're seated on the terrace, surrounded by candles and roses and the fairy tale setting Jake arranged. I sip my wine and wait. Dinner progresses. I watch through the glass, perfectly positioned, invisible to them. They lean close, whispering. Vivian's face glows with anticipation. She knows what's coming. He's probably told her about the ring, about his plans, about the future they'll have once the banking issues are resolved. She doesn't know those issues are permanent. At 8:45, Jake stands, reaches into his pocket. Vivian's hand flies to her mouth, eyes wide with performed surprise. The other diners on the terrace notice. turning to watch the romantic moment unfolding. Jake drops to one knee, opens the ring box. The diamond catches the candlelight, throwing prismatic sparks. Vivian nods, already crying, already reaching for him, and then Jake's phone buzzes. I watch his face change, watch him glance down, see the notification. Another buzz, another. The alert cascade. I had Thomas at the bank set up to hit precisely now. Every frozen account, every denied transfer, every door slamming shut on his access to my fortune. He stands slowly. The ring box slips from his hand, clatters to the ground. Vivian's smile falters. Jake, what's wrong? He doesn't answer. He's staring at his phone, watching his future disintegrate in real time. I see the moment understanding hits, the way his body goes rigid, the way his face drains of all colour. Jake? Vivian's voice rises, edged with panic now. He tries his card for the bill. It declines. Tries another. Declines. The waiter hovers, uncomfortable, professional mask slipping. Jake fumbles for his wallet, hands shaking, finds one last card, his personal account, the one with maybe $3,000, barely enough to cover their extravagant meal. It declines too, because I had that frozen this morning. A final touch, a complete erasure of his financial existence. I don't understand, Jake says, voice hollow. There must be a mistake. I'll call my wife, she'll... Your wife? Vivian's voice cracks like ice. Your wife? Jake, what is he talking about? You said you were divorced. And there it is. The lie exposed in the worst possible moment, in front of witnesses, in the ruins of his perfect proposal. Jake reaches for her, but Vivian jerks back, understanding blooming across her face like poison. You lied. You're still married. This whole time... Vivian, please, I can explain. Explain what? That you used me? That I helped you steal from your wife, planning to leave her, and you weren't even actually separated? Her voice carries across the terrace, sharp and damning. You said she was abusive. You said she controlled everything. You said... I said what you needed to hear. Jake's composure shatters. And it worked, didn't it? You helped me set up the accounts. You found the properties. You... He stops. Realizes what he's admitted. In public. In front of 24 witnesses and Rachel's carefully positioned cameras. Vivian's laugh is ugly and broken. You're pathetic. She grabs her purse and walks away. Doesn't run, doesn't storm, just walks spine straight, leaving Jake kneeling among scattered roses with a ring he can't afford and a future that no longer exists. The restaurant manager approaches. Sir, about the bill. I finish my wine, set the glass down with careful precision, and stand. Walk to the terrace entrance. Jake sees me and freezes. Hello, darling, I say softly. Interesting evening? His mouth opens, closes, opens again. Eleanor, I can explain. It's not what it looks like. It's exactly what it looks like. I keep my voice pleasant, conversational. It's you proposing to your mistress with money you stole from me, in a life you thought you'd have after I was dead. Dead? What are you talking about? Eleanor, you sound insane. Do I? I tilt my head. Or do I sound like someone who knows about the car accident you planned? The brake lines? The mountain road? Does 6 months from now ring any bells, Jake? His face goes white. You can't prove any of that. You're delusional. I can prove the fraud. I can prove the affair. I can prove you attempted to drain my accounts while lying about being divorced. I smile. The attempted murder. Well, that's harder to prove when it hasn't happened yet, but thankfully I don't need to. The divorce will be spectacular enough. I turn to the manager. I'll cover their bill, add it to my tab. Consider it a farewell gift. Eleanor, wait. I don't wait. I walk out of the restaurant, out of Jake's life, out of the story where I'm the victim. Behind me, I hear him calling my name, voice cracking with desperation. I don't look back. Outside, the city sparkles with a million lights. The air tastes like freedom. Epilogue. 6 months later, I stand on a different terrace. My new apartment overlooks the harbour, all glass and light and space. No ghosts here. No memories of a marriage that was always a lie. Just clean lines and possibility and the sound of water against stone. The divorce finalised 3 months ago. Jake fought, of course, hired lawyers with money he didn't have, made accusations that fell apart under scrutiny. The evidence Rachel gathered, combined with his public confession at the restaurant, made the proceedings mercifully quick. He got nothing. Not a single dollar, not a single property, not even the vacation home in Aspen that started everything. Vivian disappeared shortly after. I heard through channels that she moved to Seattle, changed her name, started over. Good for her. She was a pawn in Jake's game too, in her own way. Young and greedy and foolish, but not a murderer. Jake was the murderer, or would have been. The police found his planning documents when they searched his storage unit during the divorce proceedings. Notes about the mountain road, research on brake line sabotage, a burner phone with messages to a mechanic offering cash for modifications. Premeditated, calculated, cold. He's awaiting trial now. Conspiracy to commit murder. Fraud. 23 years to life, his lawyer says. I don't attend the hearings. Don't need to. The justice isn't for me. I already saved myself. This morning, I opened a new foundation. The Eleanor Chen Initiative for Women's Financial Independence. Free legal aid, financial literacy programs, escape funds for women trapped by economics. My father's money doing what it should have done all along. Protecting people, building something good. The doorbell rings. David Park stands in my hallway holding a bottle of champagne and a folder. The last of the paperwork, he says, handing me the folder. Jake's appeals have been denied. It's over, Eleanor. Completely over. I take the folder, set it aside. Thank you, David, for everything. You saved yourself. I just filed the papers. He studies me with those careful lawyer eyes. How are you? Really? I considered the question. In my original timeline, I'd be dead today. This exact date, this exact hour. The anniversary of the car crash that didn't happen, the murder that I prevented by waking up 6 months earlier, with death's memory still fresh in my mouth. But I'm not dead. I'm standing in sunlight with champagne and freedom, and a future that belongs entirely to me. I'm alive, I tell him. That's enough. After David leaves, I stand on my terrace and watch the harbour. Sailboats cutting through blue water, seabirds wheeling against the sky, the city breathing and moving and existing without caring about my small human drama. Somewhere in a prison cell, Jake is living with the consequences of treating people like tools. Somewhere in Seattle, Vivian is building a new life. Somewhere in the past, there's a version of me who died believing love was enough, that trust was sacred, that goodness would be rewarded. But I'm not her anymore. I'm the woman who died and came back, the woman who learned that revenge isn't about anger, it's about precision, about taking back what's yours with calm, quiet purpose, about saving yourself because no one else will. My phone buzzes, a message from an unknown number. Thank you. Your foundation helped me leave. I'm safe now. I'm free. M. One woman. One life changed. One person who won't end up like I almost did, dead on a mountain road, trusting the wrong person, believing love could save her. I saved the message. Look out at the water, the endless blue horizon. The wind tastes like salt and possibility. Like starting over, like being reborn without dying first. I died once, betrayed and broken. I won't die again. I lift my face to the sun, close my eyes and breathe. Finally, completely, utterly free.